They told you mental health is a label, a destiny, a life sentence. They told you if you feel heavy, you must be broken. If you feel anxious, you must be defective. If you feel empty, you must be missing chemicals. And the moment you accepted that story, you stopped fighting. You started managing. You started identifying with the wound. You started living like a patient instead of a builder. Here's what everything you thought about mental health gets wrong. Your mind is not an excuse, and it's not an enemy. It's an instrument. And instruments don't heal by being pitied. They heal by being tuned. They heal when you stop calling the noise who you are and start treating it like feedback. Now listen carefully, because this is where weak thinking panics. This is not me saying depression isn't real. This is not me saying anxiety is fake. Some people are dealing with real disorders, real trauma, real biology, real pain. Some people need professional help. Some people need medication. Some people need therapy. If you're in danger, if you can't function, if you're having thoughts of harming yourself, you don't tough it out. You get help immediately. That is strength. That is command. But here's the truth they also don't say out loud. Millions of people are calling normal human signals a disorder because it's easier than changing a lifestyle that is quietly killing them. They are calling exhaustion depression while sleeping 5 hours, eating trash, living on their phone, and never touching sunlight. They are calling fear anxiety while consuming endless chaos, avoiding every hard conversation, and living with no plan. They are calling boredom burnout while doing nothing meaningful and then wondering why their mind feels like a locked room. You were never designed to feel good while living wrong. Mental health is not just what you feel, it's what you do. It's your habits, your environment, your inputs, your movement, your sleep, your social circle, your purpose, your posture, your standards, your identity. And if you ignore those, you can talk about feelings for 10 years and still feel like a ghost. The modern lie is simple. Name it and it will leave. So you name it, you repeat it, you post it, you wear it like a badge. You say, I have anxiety, as if the anxiety is your personality. You say, I'm depressed, as if the depression is your biography. And every time you do that, you reinforce the cage. You teach your nervous system that this is home. You don't need a new label. You need a new operating system. Here's what is wrong about the way they taught you mental health. They taught you that comfort is healing. It's not. Comfort is sedation. Healing is confrontation. Healing is doing the hard thing that your brain is begging you to avoid. Healing is telling the truth, building structure, and accepting responsibility for the parts of your life you've been neglecting. They taught you that your emotions are facts. They are not. Emotions are signals. They are weather. They change with movement, with action, with momentum. If you treat every emotion like a command, your life becomes a dictatorship run by fear. They taught you that your past controls you. It influences you. Yes. It can wound you. Yes. But you are not your past. Your past is a chapter. You are the author. And authors rewrite. They don't reread the tragedy until it becomes their identity. They taught you that self-care means escape. Scroll, binge, numb, distract, indulge. That's not self-care. That's self-abandonment. Real self-care is boundaries. Real self-care is discipline. Real self-care is protecting your sleep like it's sacred and your attention like it's weaponized. They taught you that therapy is the whole answer. Therapy is a tool, a powerful tool. But a tool doesn't build a house by itself. You still have to swing the hammer. You still have to show up. You still have to do the reps. Insight without execution is just entertainment for the mind. They taught you that you are fragile. You are not fragile. You are adaptable. You are trainable. You are forged by pressure. The human nervous system is not made to be coddled. It is made to calibrate under challenge. And the biggest lie of all, they taught you that mental health is something you have instead of something you practice. Mental health is a practice. It's waking up and deciding you will not surrender your day to the weakest version of you. It's building a routine that doesn't depend on motivation. It's setting standards so clear that your moods don't get to vote. It's choosing the uncomfortable options so often that comfort stops being your religion. You want to know why you feel like you're drowning? Because you're living without anchors. You have no structure, no mission, no direction. Your brain is scanning for danger, Because your life is chaos. And chaos is a threat. The mind loves order. The mind loves predictability. The mind loves momentum. When you give it none of that, it creates its own story. Something is wrong. But sometimes nothing is wrong with you. Something is wrong with how you live. So let's talk war plans. First, audit your inputs. What are you feeding your nervous system? Doom scrolling at midnight? Blue light and bad news? Porn and comparison and cheap dopamine? Your brain is not a trash can. If you fill it with poison, don't act shocked when your thoughts taste like poison. Second, regulate your body. Your mind is sitting on top of biology. Sleep is not optional. Protein is not optional. Sunlight is not optional. Movement is not optional. If you treat your body like a neglected machine, your mental state will reflect it. Start with the basics like a warrior: sleep window, clean meals, water, walk, train. Third, reduce the noise. Your attention is being stolen every minute. Notifications are not harmless. They fracture your focus and teach your brain to crave interruption. Turn your phone into a tool, not a leash. Silence it. Remove the apps that hijack you. Create space for your mind to breathe. Fourth, confront the avoided. Anxiety grows in avoidance. Depression grows in stagnation. The cure is not more analysis. The cure is action. Make the call. Send the message. Start the project. Clean the room. Pay the bill. Face the thing you keep running from. Every avoided task is an unpaid debt that collects interest in your chest. Fifth, build meaning. You will not feel good while living without purpose. Pleasure is not purpose. Entertainment is not purpose. Purpose is responsibility chosen voluntarily. A mission big enough that your pain has a place to go. You don't need to find yourself. You need to build yourself. And yes, if you have trauma, if you have a clinical condition, you still do these things. You still build structure around your healing. You still cooperate with professionals. You still treat your mind like a battlefield that requires strategy, not surrender. Because here is the real secret. The brain doesn't trust words. It trusts evidence. And the evidence is your behavior. When you keep promises to yourself, your brain learns safety. When you wake up on time, your brain learns leadership. When you train through discomfort, your brain learns resilience. When you do difficult work, your brain learns competence. Confidence is not a feeling, it's a receipt. So stop asking, why do I feel like this? And start asking, what have I trained my mind to expect? If you train it to expect escape, it will panic at pressure. If you train it to expect comfort, it will collapse at friction. If you train it to expect challenges, it will rise. This is why everything you thought about mental health is wrong today. They reduced it to a diagnosis and ignored the discipline of living. They sell you a story where you are powerless. Because powerless people buy more products, more pills, more programs, more subscriptions, more distractions. But a disciplined person is dangerous to that system. A disciplined person doesn't need to be rescued. They take command. Now, I'm not telling you to shame yourself. Shame is a trap. I'm telling you to wake up. There's a difference. Shame says you're worthless. Command says you're responsible. Shame collapses you. Responsibility builds you. You don't fix your mind by hating yourself. You fix it by training yourself. So here is your wake-up call, and it's simple. Stop negotiating with the voice that wants the easy route. Stop calling your discomfort a disorder while refusing to do the basics. Stop medicating the symptom and protecting the habit that causes it. Stop making your emotions the CEO. You are the CEO. Your mind is a weapon. But a weapon needs discipline. A weapon needs maintenance. A weapon needs a mission. Without a mission, it turns inward and starts attacking you. Give it a mission. Wake up and move your body before your brain invents excuses. Write down your plan before the world writes it for you. Choose one hard thing each day and do it on purpose. Cut one distraction each week like you're cutting a parasite. Tell the truth to one person you've been hiding from. Build one skill that makes you valuable. Stack wins so small they feel stupid. Then stack them until your life is unrecognizable. And if you truly need help, get it. Without ego, without shame, without delay. Therapy can guide you. Medication can stabilize you. Support can hold you. But none of it replaces the daily act of building a life that makes your mind proud to live inside it. Because that is what they never taught you. The goal isn't to feel better. The goal is to become better. Better habits, better standards, better boundaries, better courage, better routines, better friends, better work, better sleep, better self-respect. When you become better, your feelings follow. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become strong. And strength is the truest form of mental health. So stop worshiping the label. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop praying for comfort. Start training your nervous system like a warrior. Start living like you respect yourself. And watch what happens. What you called mental illness in many cases will reveal itself as misalignment. Misalignment between who you are and how you live. Fix the alignment, build the discipline, and the darkness that used to control you will become fuel. Not because you were never hurting, but because you finally learned how to lead. Let's go deeper, because the internet turned mental health into a fashion statement, and that is poison. They tell you, protect your peace, but what they really mean is avoid your growth. They tell you cut off anything that triggers you, and then you build a life with no pressure, no standards, no resistance, and you wonder why your mind collapses the second life demands something. Triggers are not always enemies. Sometimes a trigger is a signal that there is a wound you must heal or a weakness you must train. You don't heal by hiding, you heal by graduating. They tell you to validate everything you feel, but validation without direction becomes a prison. Yes, your pain is real. Yes, your fear is real. Yes, your sadness is real. But real does not mean rightful. Real does not mean permanent. Real does not mean you must obey it. A storm can be real and still not decide the route of the ship. Your ship needs a captain. And here is the harsh part. In a world of infinite comfort, your brain will default to weakness. It will conserve energy. It will seek dopamine. It will choose the shortest path. That's biology. That's not evil. But if you let biology run your life, you will end up in a cage made of convenience. This is why mental health got louder while people got weaker. Because we removed the very things that produce stability, routine, community, physical effort, meaningful struggle, and responsibility. So when I say everything you thought is wrong, I mean this. You were taught to treat the mind like a fragile ornament instead of a system that must be trained. A trained mind has pillars. Pillar 1, rhythm. Most people live with no rhythm. They wake up at random, they eat at random, they work at random, they sleep at random, they consume at random, and then they act shocked that their emotions are random. Your nervous system loves predictability. Give it rhythm and you reduce chaos. Same wake time. Same sleep time, same meal windows, same work block, same training schedule, not because you are boring, but because you are building a foundation that doesn't shake. Pillar 2, exposure. You can't overcome fear by analyzing it. You overcome fear by meeting it safely and progressively again and again until your body learns, I can survive this. Avoidance teaches panic. Exposure teaches power. You don't need to leap off a cliff, you need to take a step. Then another, make eye contact, speak up once, walk into the gym, apply for the job, sit with the discomfort. Your brain will scream. Let it scream, then show it you are still moving. Pillar 3, connection. Isolation is gasoline for anxiety and depression. Humans are wired for tribe, not followers, not likes, not comments, real connection, real eye contact, real laughter, real accountability. You don't need 100 friends. You need 2 people who tell you the truth and don't let you disappear. Your mental health will not be fixed by another quote. It will be strengthened by a life where you are seen and challenged. Pillar 4, meaning. Meaning is not a vibe. Meaning is duty. Meaning is carrying weight that matters. You feel hollow because you aren't carrying anything worth suffering for. You aren't building. You aren't serving. You aren't creating. You aren't progressing. So your brain produces emptiness like a warning light. The warning isn't you're broken. The warning is you're wasting your life. And now let's talk about the myths they sold you, one by one, and how to break them. Myth, I need to understand my feelings before I can act. Truth, action creates clarity. Movement creates mood. Your brain clears when your body moves and your day has structure. You can journal for 10 minutes, sure, but don't journal for 10 years while your life stays the same. Understand enough to move, then move enough to understand. Myth, if I don't feel like it, it means I shouldn't do it. Truth, feelings are lagging indicators. They show up after you stack evidence. You don't wait to feel confident to train. You train, then confidence arrives. You don't wait to feel motivated to work. You work, then motivation follows like a shadow. Build first, feel second. Myth, I'm just wired this way. Truth, you are wired by repetition. You can change your wiring by changing your reps. Neural pathways strengthen through practice. Habits are not moral. Habits are mechanical. If your current wiring is chaos, you can rewire it with discipline, therapy, and deliberate practice. The question is not can I? The question is will I? Myth, rest means escape. Truth, rest is recovery, not avoidance. Recovery has a purpose, to return stronger. If your rest makes you weaker, it isn't rest, it's sedation. True rest includes sleep, sunlight, calm breathing, nourishing food, and time away from screens. Then you return to the mission. Myth, if I ask for help, I'm weak. Truth, asking for help is strategy. A soldier with a broken leg doesn't pretend it's fine. He gets treatment and returns to the fight. If you need professional support, get it. If you need medication to stabilize, take it under a clinician's guidance. If you need trauma work, do it. Strength is not denial. Strength is disciplined action. Now, here's the blueprint you can run for the next 30 days. Not a theory, a protocol. Rule 1, wake up at the same time every day. Not most days, every day. Your body clock is a governor. Set it. If you want 5 a.m., earn it by sleeping earlier. If you can't, choose a time you can sustain and lock it in. Consistency first, intensity later. Rule 2, move within the first hour. A walk, push-ups, a light run, a gym session, something. You are telling your nervous system, we are alive and we are in control. Motion reduces rumination. Motion regulates stress hormones. Motion upgrades mood. You don't have to love it. Do it. Rule 3, protect the first hour from poison. No news, no doom, no comparisons, no comment sections, no random messages. The first hour is a launch sequence. Guard it like a vault. Water, sunlight, planning, movement, prayer, journaling, whatever anchors you. Rule 4, clean fuel. You don't have to be perfect, but stop pretending food doesn't affect the mind. Eat real meals. Protein, fiber, water. Reduce the sugar spikes that whip your emotions like a leash. You don't need to obsess. You need to respect your biology. Rule 5, one hard task before noon. Something you've been avoiding. The email, the project, the study, the workout. Do it early. Win early. A day with a win has a different flavor. A day with avoidance tastes like anxiety. Rule 6, reduce dopamine noise. Set a timer for social media. Delete one app. Turn your phone grayscale. Put it in another room during work. You can't build a strong mind while training yourself to crave interruption. Rule 7, nightly debrief. 5 minutes. What did I win today? What did I avoid? What will I fix tomorrow? You are not overthinking. You are leading. Leaders review. Do this for 30 days and watch what happens. Your mood will become more stable. Not because you became lucky, but because you became organized. And if you still feel crushed, if the darkness stays heavy, then you have more information. Then you can pursue professional treatment with clarity, not confusion. You can walk into therapy and say, I've built structure, I've reduced noise, I've improved sleep and movement, and this still persists. That is how you separate a lifestyle problem from a clinical condition. That is how you respect both science and strength. Because the truth is, mental health is not one thing. It's a spectrum of biology, psychology, environment, habits, and meaning. And the modern world attacks all of it at once. It starves you of sleep. It floods you with stimulation. It isolates you behind screens. It trains you to avoid discomfort. It replaces purpose with entertainment. It sells you identity packages based on pain. And you accepted the package. Today, you return it. You stop worshiping your symptoms. You stop romanticizing your struggle. You stop treating your pain as proof you are special. You treat it as a signal to build. This is not cold. This is compassion with standards. Because real compassion doesn't leave you in weakness. Real compassion drags you towards your potential. So if you've been calling yourself broken, stop. You are not broken. You are not a diagnosis. You are not a mood. You are a set of choices repeated. And you can choose differently. Choose structure. Choose movement. Choose truth. Choose community. Choose duty. Choose the hard path that builds the nervous system you keep begging for. And when your mind tries to pull you back into the old story, I can't, I'm sick, I'm doomed, answer it with evidence. Evidence looks like a made bed. Evidence looks like a finished workout. Evidence looks like a completed task. Evidence looks like a clean meal. Evidence looks like an honest conversation. Evidence looks like a week of consistency. Your brain will argue. Let it argue. Then outvote it with action. That is mental health. Not a slogan, not a label, a practice. And when you practice it long enough, you don't just feel better. You become unrecognizable to the version of you that used to beg for relief. You become the relief. Before you call it a disorder, run the 3 checks. Did you sleep enough? Did you move enough? And did you do something meaningful? If the answer is no, don't diagnose yourself, discipline yourself. If the answer is yes and the pain still crushes you, respect that signal and seek qualified care. Either way you act, either way you build, either way you refuse to rot in a story that keeps you small. Your mind is not your prison. Your mind is your battlefield. Win it. You don't discover confidence. You manufacture it. You forge it in repetition. You forge it when you show up after a bad night, when you act while scared, when you keep a promise nobody can see. That's the truth they won't sell you because it can't be sold. It has to be earned. Earn it daily and your mind will finally follow your lead. One more thing, stop waiting for the world to understand you before you start improving yourself. The world is loud, confused, and distracted. It will hand you 1,000 explanations and 0 solutions. Your life is your responsibility. That doesn't mean you are to blame for every wound. It means you are in charge of every repair. So take inventory today. Not tomorrow, today. Pick a wake time and lock it in. Pick a training plan and start it. Pick one habit that is poisoning you and cut it. Pick one person who pulls you upward and call them. Pick one goal that scares you and take the first step. And if you're carrying something heavy, trauma, grief, panic, carry it with a plan. Get support. Get guidance. But don't surrender your agency. Don't hand over the steering wheel and call it healing. Healing is steering. Healing is choosing. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be obedient to your mission. You don't need to fix your mind overnight. You need to win today. Because today is where mental health lives. In today's choices. In today's standards. In today's discipline. Make today strong. Then make tomorrow stronger. That is how you rebuild the mind. That is how you become the kind of person your darkness can't control.